recording from the beautiful Hyatt Regency Hotel here in Sofia today. So I just came off the back of few friends in town while I'm in the middle of building my coaching business, and where I was making some great progress. Over the previous few weeks, I had hit a lot of momentum. I was really getting on top of my habits, and everything was starting to come together. But still having a lot of high expectations of myself, and sometimes that can create, some good impetus to create some momentum. But it can also be a little bit challenging when life kind of throws a spanner in the works, like having friends visiting in town. I had multiple groups of friends hitting me up in Sofia within the same week. And at the same time, I also had a friend who just welcomed a baby boy, another friend who, is getting married. So I was meeting up with him because I'm not going to be at the wedding. So it was just a collection of a lot of social things at the same time. And I found that I got very stressed because, to quote Naval Ravikant when he was on Chris Williamson's podcast, he mentioned how if you view a beam supporting a building, when it's under stress, it's basically being pushed or pulled in two opposing directions. And that's very much how I felt this past week. A lot of that was out of my control. So it's not actually something that I should have really been stressing about. But anyway, I just wanted to share my experiences there, because it also brings into mind how a lot of my clients are going to be people who have, fitness goals, have a lot of career or business goals for themselves. And sometimes things happen, right? Maybe you're on a trip away somewhere. Maybe you are, you're put on some big project in your organization, and life is just not going to pan out in the way that you typically expect it to, and you're going to have to somewhat give up some of the control. Now, what I found very helpful in this regard is to have a base layer of activities that I can still do, which are a fraction of what I would typically be doing on a regular basis. So for example, if in a fat loss phase, you usually go to the gym 4 times a week and you track your nutrition every day, a tapered down version of that might be more appropriate if you're traveling for a business conference, for example, might be 2 30-minute hotel workouts in a week, and you do intermittent fasting, just skipping breakfast in the mornings as a form of natural caloric restriction that you don't really need to think about, right? So that can be like your travel toolkit. And in the same way, this weekend, I probably should have had a socializing toolkit. So that could have been, as long as I send out my daily email and get my daily social media post done and handle all my client work, then I don't need to worry about anything else, and I can just enjoy the company that I have. Because if you've got a very extensive to-do list, while you're making time for other people, it's going to be very difficult to be present in the moment. So not only will you not so effectively perform the tasks that you're meant to be performing anyway, it could easily sour the interaction in your social life. So just be aware of that, and probably best to just make the decision prior about how you're going to handle it. One of the ideas I gave my clients is that when we have some form of a contingency plan, like let's imagine it's a contingency workout or a contingency nutrition plan, we actually want that to be very much different from what we're typically doing when we're in our normal circumstances. And the reason for that is because human beings are so adaptable when it comes to the environment, right? Like if you take me to Sofia, Bulgaria, where I live right now, where I'm living on my own in my nice big 1-bedroom apartment, I am going to behave and act and have habits that are completely different than if you take me and put me for a week in my childhood bedroom in my parents' house. Within a few days, I have regressed. I have lost all semblance of responsibility or like thinking for myself. My work suffers, and I just become that little bit more soft. Like it's mad how it happens. No matter how much I try to resist that, I just can't. And I've spoken to a few other people who have the exact same experience. So if, for example, you typically train in the gym while everything is stable, I wouldn't so much recommend that you go out of your way to do home body weight only workouts. Instead, that would be much more effective to have as a tool in your tool belt only for when you're on the road traveling, because you have a clear distinction then between what you're doing when you're in one environment versus when you are in the other environment. So like, these are some strategies that I'm really passionate about, especially for high performers, because many of my ex-colleagues unfortunately developed quite a number of, lifestyle aggravated, let's say, not necessarily lifestyle induced, because genetics play a big factor, but lifestyle aggravated illnesses. So things like, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, so issues with blood pressure. Despite the fact that they were earning amazing money, they were very well respected in their career, and if you knew them within the circles that they work in, they're like mini celebrities. So that's all kind of not worth nothing, because obviously everyone has a legacy, but it's, they probably could have spent more time in good health, or in some cases more time on this earth, if they'd have just had the right guidance when it comes to implementation regarding health and fitness, because there's no shortage of information out there nowadays. We have AI, large language models, we have really powerful search engines, we have YouTube, Instagram, all these social media platforms just delivering information to us constantly. Information is not the problem, it's implementation. Okay, I help high performers to lose 10 kilos in 12 weeks. At the very beginning of their fat loss journey by using a bottom-up style of coaching. If you're interested in finding out more about that, you can head to the links in the description, where I have a way that you can actually use my framework, so the flexible fat loss framework, which involves losing 10 kilos in 12 weeks without giving up any of your favorite foods, eating even while dining out, whether it be with friends or it's on work trips, whatever. It goes down into the dietary guidelines, using AI to make that faster, and also then having quick, ready-made workouts for when you're on the road versus when you're at home and the environment is that bit more stable. So make sure to check it out, sub to the page if you haven't already, and you can catch me on the various other social channels. So till next time, have yourself a calm yet focused and productive week ahead.